All right, so this is episode 3 of Mom's Crib, and I have the infinite blessing to welcome Stack Moolah, major producer out of Montreal, my city, first artist from Montreal that we have online. And
No. Oh wow.
on this show, yeah, we got
Yeah.
two guys from TO, Canadian Kings, and
We
here
have
I have a Montreal
Maestro.
King,
I see
right?
that one.
We have
That's
Maestro, we
great.
had Socrates, and today, please allow me to give you your flowers. So, Stack Moolah, I see you as this, like the same way Alchemist to Havoc, you're that version to Nicholas Craven. It seemed like that in a sense where there's a connection between y'all two. And your sounds are different, but your sounds are epic, and you guys are doing great things. You're producing internationally. You've worked with Ransom, guys that are champion of the culture. You've worked with Rome Streets, Griselda. If I had to think of a bigger underground label of the past 5 years, there is none. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? Like there is none. You've worked with national acts that are legendary. Sans Pression, he's as legendary as it gets for me. I cannot don't. That's as you know, championship winning as it gets for France. OGs that are decorated. Anyways, you've done a lot, and you've worked with Chung. I
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
I think she's one of the harder ones in Montreal. So it's a pleasure for me to meet a producer of your caliber. Welcome to Mom's Crib.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, man.
What's up?
Crazy.
What's up? So was this intro worthy? Was this
Oh
intro
man.
adequate?
Yeah. For sure, bro. Like, thank you. I don't know what to say, man. I'm a fan of yours too, man. I've been,
Oh,
like
dude.
obscure
Appreciate that,
disorder
man.
stuff for sure.
There we go.
I still have all the records, man.
That's
And I
wild.
was, I was like thinking about the stuff we were gonna do tonight, and I
Mhm.
went back and mind
I
blowing,
appreciate that.
man. Mind blowing.
Yeah. Shout out to Similac. Shout out to Similac. Shout out to
That's my dude,
A-Track.
man. Shout
He
out to
scratched
Cinema.
on that. I haven't seen him in a
But that
minute.
song is hard. And I was trying to think because that instrumental made its way to New York, and I think it was Stretch and Bobbito, or it was like on a mixtape or something. I can't put my
I
finger
don't
on it, but I
even
remember it was like it was out there, man. It was making good
listen. I
sounds.
appreciate that to this day. I go to different cities sometimes to work with people, and I'll get mind blowing will usually come up.
Really.
Not gangster will come up. And as a dude, I noticed I read that you stopped doing music for like 6 years.
Yeah, something like that, man.
Some right. So I stopped doing music for a minute as well, longer than that. And as I got back to music, I am like I really feel proud of what I have done now in the most recent present, few past, whatever you want to call it. But when you've done something at your youthful peak era, people connect with that. And I love that I was able to have an impact with someone, as I'm sure you do. But at the same time, um, I changed, I grew. It's been so many years that I love that. But I feel like what I'm doing is also great. So you don't ever want to be the guy who doesn't want to play the record that people really mess with.
Right,
But at
right,
the
right.
same time, you're like, yo, mess with my new shit.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah,
but
yeah.
thank you, bro.
There's a
Thank you, bro.
balance between the two, I think, that can be had. Like that's
It's a
what a
balance to be
legacy
had.
act is, right? Like people want to hear
You're right.
the
You know
old.
what? I wonder if you feel that way as a producer who worked. When was your first? I know that Sans Pression, that was one of your, I think
That was
you
my first
produced for a
placement. That
year,
was my very
first
first
placement.
placement.
And
I
you've been
was,
producing for like a year at that point, right?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. So do you look at it like, man, I've been at this is like a 20-year thing, and this is part of my legacy? Or do you look at it like I had moments and my legacy is scattered? Or do you look at it as like, nah, this is my legacy?
Man,
Because
I
you
don't
made such
really think about it that
growth
way.
now. Growth
I
now.
just work, bro. I just want to create more and do more and get better. And like, I don't like, I look back on like, obviously the SP thing was crazy. It was like
Yeah,
out the gate. He was the biggest rapper, French rapper in Montreal at
100%.
the time.
I saw his first
Like,
performance.
it
I
was
want to believe that I
major.
saw his first performance. God bless you, bro, because that's epic. I think I saw his first performance at Patrol Prévost. Homeboy, like his DJ was fucking up, sound man was messing up. He ran up the stage, was about to mess everybody up on some real grimy shit. Remember watching him thinking he was solo dolo on stage, super aggressive with his style, talented. You could tell the skill set and fearless and
Yeah,
raw.
yeah.
And look at what he
Especially for that
became.
time. Like,
Right?
it was a different era to like do hip hop back then. It was
Huh?
You had to like really love
And
it.
to
Mm.
run through a crowd on some rah-rah. You know what I'm saying? It's a
Mhm.
different era. It's a different era. But what I'm saying is, like you've done Sans Pression, that's your very first placement, as epic as it gets. I'm not a French rap super connoisseur, but I'm still Montreal kid who knows exactly who SP is.
Right.
And at the same time, you're working with peak artists. Like, so let's just go to my personal favorite track of yours, Rick Lesnar. Like, I know you've heard that a million times, I'm sure. But
Which
when I
version
play
though?
that version two, there's three versions, right?
Yeah.
Version one is tough, super tough. Every version is great, but there's something about version two. Is it the most popular? Because it's for me, it was the one that struck the like. It reminded me of part two, Shook Ones,
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the concept, right? The two parts, like, oh, which one do you like better? Oh, this one's
right?
mine. Yeah. So that's kind of the concept. I haven't checked the stats in a while. I think there's one that's way more like getting more plays,
Yeah.
and I think it is the second one. I'm pretty sure. It's the
Ah,
second. I'm pretty
dude,
sure,
it's
and by far.
wild.
Yeah, but I haven't checked the stats in a minute.
But that's the thing about music where um let's just talk about Brick Lesnar, but let's talk about your beat dumps because whether it's like I went through your earlier dumps, your later ones, it's so good, it's so dense, it's so visual, but it's so good. And at some point, if I was a rapper who got work from you, it's hard to choose because they're just so good. I like is Brick Lesnar part two, for example. Let's just say as an example, it's the one that stood out more, I think. We think. Do you know? Looking back, did you know? Because you have so much hot shit. Like, do you know?
Um, think I don't know if it's for version two or version one, but I think like when I was sending beats to Rome,
Yeah.
I was talking with Craven and he's like, "Oh, this one," and I was like, "No, no, 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 it's this one. Like, send this one," and that's the one that he ended up
Yeah.
picking. So sometimes I'm like this for sure, but sometimes I'm like, "Yo, this is the illest beat," and no one picks it, and I'm like, "What's going on? This you guys don't want this? This is like this illest shit I've ever made," and no one picks it. And they, it's kind of like the producer kind of thing where like they pick like a weird beat that you're like, really? This? It's all right, whatever, whatever sparks your.
I get that a lot. I get that a lot. I don't want to say every time, but often enough when producers give me a beat tape, I can't right now, skin deep. He gave me a beat tape. He's like, oh, that one. Like
Yeah,
in my head, I'm like, you gave me 4 or 5 beats, bro. Like you should be that one about it. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I get that sometimes because I guess if you don't pick all five, they just presume that some are more popular, right? So I guess a producer does have an ear for what they
for
think.
me, I don't rap, so it's like I
You
don't.
never rapped?
Wow, like I busted a rap, but
I'm just saying, did you ever have a moment where you rap?
not seriously, not like, yo,
Not
I'm gonna
seriously.
rap. Just
I
like, yo,
never.
let me write a rap, like in Segunda 4 or something, in like ninth grade or something, but like never like, yo, I'm gonna sit down and rap and like do a song or whatever. Like, not really.
I wonder what brings that. Like, I never had a moment where I wanted to produce. And today, if there's one thing, if there's two things that would tell younger me is stay in the lab, number one. I was way too distracted. And number two, learn to produce. Because not every producer, like Eminem, not that many rappers outside of his prime hit him up for beats. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
saying that Eminem doesn't have dope beats. I'm just saying there is still a connection to his poppingness and who was taking his beats in his prime.
true.
So, right, Mike Shab,
Designer beats kind of thing. Like, oh, you want that hot producer or whatever name you can attach to a project, it's gonna make it pop type of thing.
kind of. Because if I look, I don't want to talk too long about other people, but if I think of one dude in Montreal who raps, produces, who I think produces just as good as he raps, my opinion, is Mike Shab. And I'm proud as a Montreal dude
Sure,
that
Shadow Nasty, both ends, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like when he raps, something that I've noticed that I don't know if anybody who is an OG and isn't really a nerd about this shit will notice is he studies the culture because every now and then he'll flip some things in his lyrics that I know come from 9-3, some Redman stuff. I know he's a young buck, so I'm like, you studied your shit.
Bro,
And
I
it's in the coolest, subtle way.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And to that point, I just did the cover for his new album, and you're gonna get it. You're gonna get that again. I don't want to, it's like you want
Shout
to see it when you see
out.
it, but you when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about right now.
See, I love that. I
And
noticed
that's
that,
that's his idea too. Like he came up with that. He was like, "Yo, I want to do, let's do,
bro,
did it."
straight up, I got I got a soft spot for young bucks that respect what came before. Because I know personally, I was the same way when I was younger, and I'm the same way today with even the elder dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
when I look at it, like he showed love early. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I can't wait to see that. Now brings me to the artwork. Let's talk about you again. You do artwork, you produce, you don't rap, you
Yet.
don't rap yet, but you also do like contract work, like in a sense where you do artwork for hip hop. And at the same time, I saw that you did some beautiful pieces that look like they could be for either stores or businesses or certain people. And then there's the production, right? So what are you first? I know you're gonna say producer, but
What do you mean? But well, it's all like it depends. Like what pays the bills, what brings in the money, what do I do?
bingo, I'm glad you said that. You at the end of the day, you could be the best producer in the world. You got illest placement, bro. Ransom. That's wild. Like Rome, that song Brick Lesnar, bro, on some Montreal shit. It has to be one of the hotter songs I ever heard out of Montreal. I'm not even just saying that because you hear. I'm saying that because I felt it, and it was just hard. And he could rhyme his ass off. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
a great combination, and it's out of MTL. All right. So what are you first? I know it's about who pays the bills, but if you meet a girl tomorrow, don't know if you have a girl, but if you did, and she asked, "What do you do?" What would you say?
Um, I don't have like it's like I do illustration.
Okay.
That's what pays the bills. Like basically, like
So you do illustration. Bingo. Okay.
illustration. I do graphic design, and I also do music, and that
And
brings in money as well. But it's like it's not as steady, and it's kind of I don't know. It's not. I haven't figured it out 100% yet how to like completely just live off the music. And also, I'm not sure I do want to do that. It's like there's a
really,
certain freedom to like just being able to do what you want, how you want, when you're inspired,
boom.
and
There's a
no
freedom.
compromises. I like that about the way I do stuff right now. So I
Get the
kind of
bag in different places so nobody could ever cut you off.
was that.
Yep. Like get the bag in different places so
Yeah.
no one could ever really cut you off. Like if let's say in any business, if you have one major client, you could be caking like crazy. That
Mhm.
major client switches up. That's it, right? So you gotta have some sort of diversification of some sort,
Yeah.
right? And rappers, you said it. Sometimes they hop on what's popping. So you can have the best relationship with a rapper. And if he feels as though at some point the numbers aren't doing what he thinks he could be doing, he's gonna holler at somebody that's popping, more popping. You know what I'm saying?
Which is
You know
fine,
how it
which is
gets.
fine, which is business, right? Like that's how it works.
100%.
It's like
100%.
you can't be mad at someone.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Okay. Illustrator, producer. Um, So we'll talk about producer, even though you mentioned illustration first. So how did it come about? For example, my favorite track, Brick Lesnar. If I had to break that down, like y'all got to go check out. First of all, just Google his discography. He's done work with Quebecois rappers. Um, really good stuff. Larry Kidd. Um, you did a whole EP with him, right?
Yeah,
Five
yeah,
songs.
and Rough Sound. Like me and Rough Sound produced it, and we.
Bingo and Rough Sound. And then you did an EP with Saint Sucré, which is mostly like really drumless vibes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And that's all you. So Quebecois level, these are heavy, heavy, heavy hitters. And on the Anglo side, you were the come up dudes, right? So let's talk about Brick Lesnar. This song to me is one of those come up tracks that really um you said you don't eat off rap all the time. To me, it felt and feels like it's a matter of time. Let's go. Let's talk about it. How'd that come about?
but like I said, it's cool. it's cool to get a bag here and there, but like I don't want, it can't be. I don't know. It's hard to say. It can't be like anything that becomes a job. It becomes a job. You know what I mean? And that's
Wow.
a job is a job. This I don't treat as a job. It doesn't feel like a job. It feels really good when I do it. I do it when I want to do it. So I don't want to jinx myself, and I don't want to say, "Yo, I don't want to make money off it." That's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, there's like a certain freedom to it that I kind of enjoy, and that that is precious. But that being
Absolutely.
said,
Listen,
like I'm really down to like keep going. I'm not stopping. I will see what comes up in the future. Like, but if I can make money and keep my freedom, that would be the best.
I love this. You kind of sound like me in a sense where I talk to people recently. I dropped, I don't know, 40 videos in the past couple years. And it's a new era.
Yeah,
And people tell me like, yo, don't stop, keep going. And as much as I don't stop, keep going, I'm always fully aware of where the bag comes from and never getting caught up in popular energy.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Does popular pay my bills? Right. So I believe. So I invest in myself. Like some people will go out and drink every Saturday. I'll keep that, invest in something else.
right.
Um, but at the same time, I'm a little bit like you. I did this podcast because I realized that I'm a rap dude who loves talking rap. I
Yeah,
love talking with people who graph, who rap, who produce, who illustrate. Like I really do. Like your brain doesn't think like mine. And I love to know your perspective, your version, your approach to hip hop. But I love the idea of getting into a podcast because in terms of what I thought was you got a business, I thought who else to talk rap but a dude who lived rap for a very long time and has built relationship with people at times that are very respected and skilled. And myself, I'm not going to say that I'm Hove, but, but in my city, people knew I could rap. So I feel like it's a different kind of opinion. It almost feels like when you're watching LeBron and JJ Redick talk about basketball. If you know basketball, like these are basketball dudes. It ain't like a regular announcer talking basketball because
yeah,
they
yeah,
studied
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's a
You know what
player.
I'm saying? The
Yeah.
ones who lived it. I just wanted to talk about it from the perspective of the ones who lived it. So when you say you got one of the hotter records, in my opinion, that ever came out of the city, that crossed over, that left, you're like, it's dope. But illustration gets the bag. That's real rap talk. And that's kind of what I wanted out of this.
And
Um,
I like both. So it's not
of
like
course.
I'm doing something that I don't like. So it's like I like everything that I do. So it's not a problem. It's not like, oh, I really got to get this rap shit going. Like, it's like, um, you know, I I live a simple life also, like I don't need like crazy stuff. I just like need to create really. It's like what's most important to me. So if I can do that and pay my bills and eat and go out every once in a while and whatever,
Yeah,
I'm all right, man.
there we go. But you do psycho beat dumps.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I
like
love
I
it. I
write
love to do it.
but it's work. Like I write a lot. Like I write a lot. Like I have life and a bunch of shit to do. I got a couple of youngins, but I didn't write that much back in the days, and I understood now that creativeness, it's not even a word. Being creative is almost like being an athlete.
Hmm.
Muscle memory is real.
Yeah.
The more you produce, the more. I don't produce, but I could presume
You
with
create.
educated information. The more you create, the more it's muscle memory. The more you're faster. Your thoughts are good and built and formed
Yeah.
warped to lead to
And
what you
you're
want.
improving, you're getting better, you're getting like everything is a step forward.
That's it. So you produce all
Every
day now.
minute you spend on something, you're getting better and better and better and better and improving your skills.
100%. 100%. Do you think there was a moment before I ask you about producing all day? Was there a moment when you realized, was ever any pivot moment? Because I know you did more boom bap with Sans Pression, for example. You did more boom bap. Well, the Rough Sound record with Larry Kidd, you brought the samples in on some drum lists, and afterwards he moved around it. Like if you want to share
Yeah,
that
yeah,
info
yeah.
or not.
He added the drums mostly and like more ambiance stuff, I would say. Like,
Okay.
but yeah, most of those beats did not have drums to begin with.
So when did you pivot? Like, when did you pivot? Like, was there a moment where you were like, I don't know, like the best rapper way that I could compare is when I got back to rap, I was like, who are the rappers that you like the most? And not in the sense of do you want to sound like them, but who are the rappers that you like the most and why do you like them? So I made a little short list in my head and I realized the rappers that I like, as much as I like lyrical rap, are rappers that I know who they are rappers who have no problem articulating their story,
Mhm.
rappers who have no problem articulating stories.
Mhm.
Um, so I told myself, I'm done shadowboxing. Doesn't mean that I don't anymore. Have a moment where I'm just like, I'm better than you for 40 bars. But I just decided, you know what? For better or worse, when you leave this record, you're gonna know who I am. I had a moment where the other day some dude hit me up to give me a hat, like some NDG shit. He's like, oh, I like, I like how you repping for the neighborhood or whatever. And when I got there, something happened that made him like, yo, bro, this is some Troy Dunnit shit. That's wild. Like you talk about that shit, and I just saw it. It just really happened. So the point when he literally said this to me, it kind of reminds me, there's a story that you're telling, right? So it's different. So when you produced, now bringing it to you, was there a moment where you were like, I don't want drums. I like samples. I'm a jazz guy. Like I heard you say, I don't listen to rap, or I barely listen to rap.
Yeah,
Not that I don't love rap. I don't, if I listen to someone too much, then I sound like them.
that's
So
it.
I listen to a record for a while, love it, own it, walk away from it, and get back to writing. I write all day.
Mhm.
So as a producer, was there a moment where you were like, I'm more of a cartoon animation guy, jazz guy, this is me? Or was it like, your times are changing? I could be better than all these guys at this shit. Like, was it a
It
combination?
was definitely a bit of times are changing, and but like I'm I'm just interested in new stuff. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like as much as I like the 90s stuff, I love it, but I don't want to make a 94 sounding
I get it.
beat rock beat. And that's no disrespect. I love that stuff.
No, 100%
I love
agree,
it.
actually.
But it's like to me, there's no point in rehashing that, you know? It's like it evolves, it becomes something else. And I want to be
100%.
doing new stuff. I want to move the needle. I don't want to like,
Gotcha.
but I want to do it by style. So yeah, I think it was like, yo, the samples are back. I'm a
Yeah.
sample guy. Like I just want to do sample stuff.
Love
Sample
sample
bass
shit.
is all I want to do, you know? No disrespect
Love
to
it.
other styles of rap, but for me, it's got to be samples. So
Did
I
you
was like,
ever replay samples? I'm only asking because you've been through a few eras, and there was an era for 20 years, maybe not 20 years, I'm exaggerating. I think 12 to 15 years, where a lot of producers replayed samples,
they still
tried to
do
stay
that.
away from it, right?
They
I
still
was
do.
talking with a dude who told me that he does that for his publishing. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I know what makes it what fits my wallet better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's another reason why it's like, yo, it's like have to, if you're gonna do sample based production and try to
Mhm.
get paid out of it, it becomes like another story, because
Is
now
that the
you
real
have
deal
to.
now?
What's that?
Is that the real deal today? I presume for some reason, without knowing
I
too
mean,
much about production,
right,
that like it was what's the word? Like kind of like rationed based on how much you made. So if you're an indie guy who's not making that much, they'll take a chunk, but it's not like they're asking you for a fucking grip and you're
right.
gonna
Or
move 10,000 streams.
all I'm saying is that that's always hanging over your head if you're sampling. However you deal with it, if whatever you're doing, if you're not clearing it, it's something that could possibly
Gotcha.
come bite you.
Makes sense.
So if you're just putting out beat dumps and just like, I've had stuff taken down from YouTube because not the samples because of the cartoons.
Wow.
But yeah,
That's crazy. I thought they had like, I guess you call it sensors or whatever. I thought it was AI that just
yeah, it's
peeps the
definitely
audio.
bots that are like,
Now
yeah,
they got bots that are peeping the visuals.
yeah, for sure, for
Listen, I
sure.
can't get mad at someone, wanting to eat all their creation, but it's messed up because it's just culture at this point. It's a generational thing. I'm looking at this era, it's of this generation, you know what I'm saying? All right. So you got flagged for that. So
Yeah, so
if you're
I
doing
was just
sample
like, I was
production.
just interested in new stuff, but that's always been like that for me. Like throughout my beat making
Yeah,
career, I I was never interested in just doing the same stuff that I was doing like 2 years before.
I love that. I
Yeah.
think that's courageous. Um, I truly believe that as an artist, I'm not exactly like that, but I'm 100% unmoved about how you feel about my music. Maybe one day when I start caking, then I'll move differently. I don't think so. I think
But what do you mean? How do you mean that?
what I mean is, so when I was younger, young, Science was my rap name, and I rapped about, super lyrical words and very Keith Murray-esque. I think
Hmm.
that was me just trying to rap like my idols. And afterwards, I kind of found myself. I always say I found myself when I wrote Not Gangsta, which is just after Mind Blown. But around that era, I started to feel, all right, this is who I am. I do hard ass records, punch you in the face, but I ain't really strapped. This was like my vision. After that, I did a record called Annie Cupid, which fucking debaucherous of just smashing every 5 seconds. And then afterwards, I left and came back with a record called After Love, which was my baby mom just dropped me, which was fine-ish. But then my kids weren't in my house. And I had to learn to live with the fact that I had my kids that were just, I had this real spiritual moment of, damn, this ain't it. You know, not even trying to go back because I missed my ex, which I kind of did, but it was more about my kids. Point is, a whole record album came out of that After Love. Then after that, Day One was about how I grew up. Can You Say Real City was about love for the city. And then I'm back now to talking a little bit more fly player shit. So to someone's mind, it'd be like, hold up, who are you? In my mind, I'm like, well, that year I was going through that.
Right, right, right.
Those years I was young, tripping, really doing that. So I don't know if it's my will to change creatively or actually my will to
Mm,
be as pure as I
I
can for
hear
hip
you.
hop.
It's
Hip
not
hop is real to
deliberate
me.
necessarily.
Yeah, to me, hip hop is real. To me, like that's why 50 connected with people because you really believe that he has drama with, drug dealer kingpins and queens. And look at him today. He's still bullying everyone in the industry 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? So that's the cool
Yeah, it
thing of
wasn't
rap,
enough. I hear
right?
you.
So production wise, is it a thing where your life changes and you look for, do your samples change? That's a good question. Do your samples
Um,
change based on your energy of the moment? Not the day,
oh
by the
yeah,
way.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Really, huh?
The mood affects how the song will sound, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
Your music and today's producing sound is almost unneeding of rappers. It's a weird thing that I'm saying as a rapper, but I'm saying it's a new era where I think producers and rappers are kind of like there's a gap. There's a slight gap that wasn't there before where producers are doing beat tapes. And bro, I'll put your beat tape at the crib and have a couple people over drinking wine, chilling, whatever. And it's almost better energy than putting a rap CD with words. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Like, not saying you could put it, but my point is it's almost like your moments of production, your beat dumps, as I was going through them, you could just play them at the crib and it could just be some hip hop shit. It could also be some hipster shit. It's just, it's fly sounding. You almost don't even need a rapper. And
Because
rappers,
they're not made with rappers in mind necessarily.
wow, I love it.
Now I'm trying to like be like, yo, somebody
So
needed.
there is a gap.
What do you mean?
So there
There's
is a gap. Producers are like, but we don't need these rappers.
no, it's not that, but it's just like I just do the beats. Like I don't really now I'm thinking like, okay, can somebody rap on this? But like like most of the beat dumps, it's just like, all right, let's make this beat. I got this sample. I want to flip this sample. Boom, I flip it. Next, 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 next. Never really stopping to think like it's I have a whole beat dump that's not in 4/4. Like it'd be very hard to rap to those beats. They're like
I
very awkward, like
There
time
was one.
signatures.
Was there just one in 4/4?
There's one in 4/4, right?
That's literally it. There was like one in four
Yeah,
four. I get it. It's a musical moment. It's beyond that. It's hip hop, but it's a musical moment. Um, so it does shift based on your emotion.
yeah, 100%. Like you were talking about the heartbreak song. I have a heartbreak beat dump. Like go and try
Right?
which one it is. But there's one out there for
But
sure.
that's the beauty of music. It's in some measure connected to your life. Those beat dumps, are they promo for rappers? Yes, they're just expression. expressions of your mind and your production energy, but are they also promotion for rappers and for businesses?
for sure. When rappers hit me up and they're like, "Yo, I want to buy a beat or something," I'm like, "Go on my YouTube, pick something. Some are sold, some are still available. We'll talk when you pick something." So that's like
Hmm.
my calling card, if you will, for rappers to like. So that way I don't have to like set a pack, make it. It's just like go
100%. You look, go check my stuff.
and check them out. And if you find something that you like, we'll see if it's sold or if it's still available.
So you do more exclusives, or you do more, um, how do they call nowadays?
I
Leasing?
don't do leasing stuff. No.
Only exclusives. All right. So now you know if you're gonna hit them up, it's solo, pull out your bread. Number two, the illustration. Is it it's different at that point? Because I saw some of the stuff that you did, man. It looks like it takes time. Super specific, super detailed, like 1 million humans in a space this big. You know what I'm saying? Like fly stuff, details, personalities. So you're clearly passionate about drawing or graffiti, if you have to pick one.
Oh, well, at this point in my life, drawing for sure. At a certain point in my life, it was
True.
graffiti for
For
sure.
real.
Graffiti, it was very, very important at one point in my. It still is. Like I still love graffiti, but I do not practice graffiti.
Yeah.
So I draw a lot.
I
I
had to
still
let that go a
almost
lot.
every day. I draw. I've been drawing since I was a little kid. So yeah.
So you've been drawing before you've been producing,
Oh
clearly.
yeah, yeah. Long
So
time
you had
ago.
to pick one. If you had one thing that you could do for the rest of your life out of drawing, illustrating, producing.
And it pays the bills. Whichever I pick
See,
will.
let's think without the money. Let's say they all paid equally,
Right,
which
right.
is not a
Got it.
real thing.
I think producing. I think producing is what I love the most. Yeah.
See, that's why we can't give up rap. We can't give up rap. We truly cannot.
Why would we?
I love writing, bro. There's moments where I'm like, all right, I need a break. I just dropped 4 albums, 2 years. I need a break. Let me just focus on something else. And then I write 6 songs in a couple weeks or in a week. Like it's just there's just moments where art and expression is just who we are. It's
Yeah.
just who we are. So you would pick production, but clearly money makes it so that illustration at times makes it more interesting. All right, so beat dumps, illustration put aside. Let's talk about this ransom collab. Just because it's international, it's popping, and it's dope as hell. So that was a collab album, actually, not even an EP, collab album with Rome Streets and Ransom. And here you are with a dope track, Silent Murderers. Can we talk about it?
Let's talk about it. Yeah, that came about through Nicholas Craven.
Like
Uh,
how you skilled? I know you said it came about. That's your homie, and he knows that you're skilled. You've done it. Insane artwork. You know what I'm saying? For like a lot of art. It seemed like at some point, I think 4 or 5 different artworks that I found that you
oh,
did for
more than
popping
that.
records. More than that, right? So way more than that. So I think at that point, you've done so much artwork, and he saw how dope you are, and he's like, "Bro, boom, that's your shit."
But
Because
that's
he,
actually the first artwork that I did. Kind of like led to the Rome Street ransom joint.
oh, explain.
So when I first met Craven, he was like, "Yo, I like your art, your graffiti, blah blah blah."
Mhm.
And he's like, "I want you to do the cover for my next Rock Marciano single."
Dude,
Yeah,
1,000 mile stare.
that's it. Yeah.
So the name of
So
the
he
song
was
is
like,
dope, by the
"Yeah,
way.
and I know you're producing, so if you want, like maybe we could like do a trade. Like, you do the cover, and I'll get you like a rapper to like rap on one of your beats." And he gave me a couple of names, and Rome Streets was one of those guys in that list. And I was like, I think Rome Streets is who I'd like to work with, you know? So
That's wild.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love this,
And
dude.
So I'm trying to remember. It's like it's a lot of moving parts of this story, but like basically, I sent beats to Craven for him to like send to them to Rome Streets for a Rome Street Stack collaboration, possibly.
Yeah,
But Rome heard that beat and he was like, "Yo, we want to do that with for the Ransom Rome Streets
yeah.
collab record."
Silent Murderers came out in 2021.
It
Brick
came
Lesser
out
came out in
before,
2022, right?
yeah, yeah, it came out before Brick Lesnar, yeah. Yeah, I sent the beat for Rome to rap on, but Rome heard the song and he was like,
Yeah,
"Actually, we're gonna use this for the album we got coming out together with Ransom."
yeah. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. So I was like,
Listen,
yo, that was
how did
like
you react?
confirmation that I was like doing something good, you know? Like they're like, yo, we want this for the album. Like this is not like a trade for, you know, it's like this beat is hard. We want it for the album.
Like, I'm almost more excited than you are. Maybe you're a different kind of personality, but I know that if personally I had a feature with Ransom tomorrow, there would be a moment where I would drop to the floor like black women do in church. I'd be like, God.
No,
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You work for so long.
yeah. No, I was like, whoa. I was like, when I heard that news, I was like, it's
Like
like,
people don't understand. Our city has a super high level of skill. Bunch of cities do, but I
mhm,
know my city. Production wise, I'm not even surprised that most people who get on and pop in out of Montreal are in some measure producers. Because I do think it's still not the easiest thing to attach a real viable hip hop image with Montreal, Canada. I
why
think
do you think that is?
I think it's the same reason why it was hard to break out Toronto. Like I had this conversation the other day. One of the I think Drake is a dope rapper. Clearly, he's been battling 20 dudes at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
actually proud of some Canadian shit. He's definitely cold blooded, but he got off because he could sing too. Like if
right.
he was just a sick rapper out of Canada, I
Mm,
don't know if being a sick rapper out of Canada alone is the
hmm.
easiest way to get up. Like if there's gonna be a dude who goes to every battle everywhere, who gets up, gets on, goes to off the whatever the name or the most pop-in podcast, and everything is possible. And I don't think it's not gonna happen. I just think rappers from other cities at times get off with less. They're
Hmm.
dope
Yeah,
the same way there's guys here that are dope. It's
yeah.
just it's not that easy in the conventional rapper image. That's why the producers. I think we're good. I think we're great. I think we have this work ethic. I think I think there's you know what I think was good? I don't think there's a sound in Montreal. I think rap wise there's a sound, and I think the sound is culture and language. So as much as I'm not a French rap guy, I think it's as Montreal as it gets. Hearing
Yeah.
a guy say, "Yo, bro, what you saying? Keb, de quoi tu parles?" is as how motherfuckers talk in the streets. So it's
Yeah.
as Montreal as it gets. Like someone said this, J7 said this in an interview. Like the Montreal sound is language. I get it. It's
Mhm,
100% true. So
mhm.
personally, when I rap in English and I drop Creole slang and drop the neighborhoods of Montreal, I feel like I'm doing that. I feel like I'm dropping identifiers so you know that it's from Montreal. But I don't know if when you hear it, you would know it's Montreal versus when you hear Rap Keb from anyone. It could be Sans Pression, it could be Le Connaisseur, it could be unless it's dudes that are real French accent, I think you know it's Montreal. Where else in the world is someone talk like that? Nowhere else. So I think it's
Or
identity, right? So I think producer wise, a little bit like English rap, if you're dope, it's kind of identity less. So anyone could get this visual and say, my story could fit on this dope beat.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I think you're right, man.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when I hear as dope as you are, as dope as Craven is, as dope as Shab is, I think Chung is popping off. Who else is popping off like outside of Quebec and English? In the English world. Like I'm trying to see like this
Planet Giza.
circle. Who?
Planet Giza.
Oh, 100%. Wow. You know, on some funk vibe, I don't know who to compare them to. Um, I don't know who to compare them to because I'm a rap kid, but I know there's like it's almost not hip hop, but it fully is.
Yes.
Super dope. Planet Giza. I don't know much of their work. I should listen to their album and pay more attention, but I know that when I hear shit and see the shit, it's pleasing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
No,
I'm
they're dope.
saying? it
So
goes. How long have they been doing the thing in Montreal?
for a minute, man. Like I'm not super sure, but they've been around for a minute. Yeah,
A long time. All
yeah.
right, so we talk about your reaction to the Silent Murderers and Brig Lesnar. We talked about how like did this song it was a second version. Did the second version go hit super hard enough for you to know it needs part two? Or were you like,
No, they came out at the
no,
same time. They both dropped at the same
oh, I
time.
didn't know that. Good intel. You dropped them both.
Yeah, and then
Is
the third
that
one came out as a vinyl exclusive. So the third one is not on the Spotify or anything. It's just on the vinyl.
business move or just
Yeah.
creative move?
Well, when I approached the record label, they were like, "Yeah, we want to do it, but like we want like a third remix, like an exclusive for the record." So I was like, "All right, let's do it."
What made you see 2 for 1?
Hmm. I think it's Shook Ones. Like I think that's
Did
like
Shook one, part two come out at the same time?
yeah, they're both on the same. I think maybe the part one came out earlier, but on the
That's
single
what
you
I'm
get
saying.
the two joints.
I gotta look back in my memory of did they come out at the same time? I gotta
I think
check
like
this
the first
intel.
one came out like a maybe I'm wrong, but like on a compilation or like a soundtrack or something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna
Like
get back
that.
to you. I'll message you on Instagram. I'm curious. Just on some rap shit. I'm really curious. I'm gonna get back to you on that. All right, I want to stick to English shit for 5 seconds. Chung is my favorite female rapper for sure in Canada, but almost of the moment. Like when I
Yeah,
first heard her spit, um, I thought she was hard, and then
yeah.
I asked her to get on the track, and the track that we got on was a little more darker vibe, and there was her energy.
So not the
And
video,
not
something
the
else.
video, not the video.
All
So
right.
we did a song called Beautiful, which was the first track. It was supposed to be 16 bars. She came through with 20, and I had 16. She came through with 20, and I was like, spit the 20? And then I was like, it's so hard. Like, I don't have an ego like that. Like, I don't. Like, I'm a dude who believes in myself and believes in just having a dope product. So I'm
Yeah.
like, spit the whole fucking 20. You're supposed to do 20? Spit the whole 20. And then afterwards, in the studio, I wrote the extra 8 and we dropped that. And it was more of a hard track. And then afterwards, she hit me up. We were supposed to do a video for that. Harder track, in her lane. And we're supposed to do a video for that. And then she called me up, kind of just on some artsy shit. Yo, Troy, we gotta do another track. That ain't the one. Nah. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, nah. It's putting me to sleep. Not putting me to sleep, but like almost as much. Like I think she just said, it's good, but
Mm.
and I don't have an ego, so I'm like, first of all, it's not. It's hard as hell. But if you want something thumping, all right. So I hit her up. I think later that day, or maybe the next morning, with that beat, and I want to say my verse and possibly the hook written, and because I'm still I'm a shooter. I'm a competitor. So I'm like, you thought that wasn't good enough? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like not on some arrogance, you're just on some no, I know I could do. And I'm glad because I put her on some, you know, vibey 2000s, almost jiggy shit. And she flipped her flow and made it comfortable and still
Yeah.
made it lyrical.
That's definitely the
Like,
vibe I got from it. Yeah.
right? Jiggy, but still comfortable, but still
Yeah.
lyrical. And I'm telling you, bro, she had Octomom lines. I just think girls and rappers are not that lyrical. And as a lyrical dude who no one understands, and I got a punchline from bar 1 to bar 8, I saw everything she was doing. And I think
Yeah.
she's really, really sick. So, no other with her and Mav is pretty, I think was it 20 bars or 16 bars back to back, no hook, hard as
Yeah.
hell. And
Yeah.
he's good too. He
Yeah,
from?
for
He's in
sure.
upstate New York.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So how did that track come about? And let me know what's going on.
I think we were in the stew. Craven was there, Shab was there. I
Mhm.
think Raz Fresco was there, or he's coming over. He was on his way, and we just listening to my beats. And she picked a couple, and then it was done. It was like yo, and she was trying to get somebody else on it. I forget who, but yeah, but Mav
She
ended up
wrote it on
like
the spot.
nah, nah, nah. She
So
she took like 15 beats or something. Something like
She
that.
took 15. How much did she write to?
I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
Hold on. Your beats or everyone's beats? She took 15
Mine.
beats that day.
All mine.
She took 15 of your beats that day.
Something like
And
that.
how long ago was that?
Uh, a year and a half ago, maybe.
Do you check in every now and then? Like, yo, you got some?
I don't. I don't. I'm telling you, man. I keep pushing. I just keep making more beats, making more beats, making more beats.
Okay,
Whoever.
so but it's still Chung. And I personally think um I think she's hard as hell. But you keep it moving, you keep it moving. All right, well, listen, dope ass track. I personally thought it
Thank
was
you, man.
nuts.
Thank
And
you.
I
And
like the cover as well.
yeah,
You didn't do that
I did
cover.
not do that cover though. I had a cover. She didn't like the one I did, but that's okay. The cover she picked is good too.
You know what? She knows what she likes. That's
Yeah,
all I
yeah,
will say. She knows what she likes. Okay, so totally random question. How did Stack Moolah come? Why do I ask? Because you're a dude who seems like a passionate artist. And Stack Moolah's like, yo, get money, bro. So
I
I'm
know
just really, you know what I'm saying?
it's the
Get money,
worst name
bro.
for me, bro. It's like
I
actually
just
the
think
worst name I could have picked. Well,
I love that you see what I saw. I'm like, this is art. This is an artistic dude. He's like, Stack Moolah, baby.
Stack is my graffiti name, right? So,
Okay.
so I was like, all right, I need like a producer name, and I was like, yo, Stack, and like on some old school shit, like people be like G Money or
True for sure.
Cash Money,
It's not
DJ
a
Cash
bad
Money.
name.
I was
It's
like, yo,
actually a great name.
yeah.
It's
So
actually
I
a
was like,
great name.
my first name was like Stack Money. It was
Stack Moolah's better.
literally Stack Money on some old school b-boy shit, like
Yeah.
money, Cash Money, DJ Cash Money shit. And then I was one day I was at I think I was at Science when they had moved to the other location downtown.
Look, when I saw Signs, if I'm not mistaken, were they on Saint Laurent behind
They
the
were on
street? Was it?
yeah, that's the first location, but then they moved to like Pine Street and Saint
Okay,
Dominique or some shit.
gotcha.
Anyways, I was there and I was filling out some paper and I was like, I was gonna write Stack Money, but I was like,
Mhm.
let me switch it up. And I was like, Stack Moolah. And I was like, yeah, that's better. I like this one better. So I changed it eventually. But man, I don't even like that name to be honest. Like,
No, don't be this way. I just think when I speak to you now, it's just it looks like you because it's graffiti. The way you write it, at least often when I see it. But Stack Moolah is just such a, we get money, baby, type of vibe.
yeah,
And I get
that's
an
it.
energy
That
of
was
you
the
of
yeah.
it's all good. It's all good. Listen, Troy Dunnit. My original name, it used to be Ty Dunnit. I don't know why. Like my first rap name was Science. Then I flipped it to I dash Con. It was like Icon, but I thought
Um,
that was corny. That was like for 1 year maybe. And then Troy Dunnit came out at the era where everyone was kind of doing regular full
but
names.
Troy Dunnit is hard though. That's a good
Is
name.
it's my real name, Troy, but also like motherfuckers ever call me anything else but Troy. Every now and then I get T, but like
Yeah.
it was just my name, right? So, and then Done It was like self-fulfilling prophecy. Like it was more one of those people ask me sometimes, is it your last name? You Haitian, Troy Dunnit. But for me, it was more self-fulfilling prophecy. Like one day gonna be like, yo, he did it. He really done it. It was more as simple as that. Simple as that. But it was supposed to be Ty Done It. For some reason, I saw Ty, but Troy Done It
Like
stayed.
TY.
Yeah, just I would take out the R O. I don't know why. Whatever. Troy Done
Gotcha.
It, Ty Done It, whatever, whatever. All right.
Troy
So I
Dunnit
just
is
want to
dope.
know.
It's a
Appreciate
good
you,
name.
bro. Um, but I'll say this: as a rapper, as a dude who took a break, as a producers don't have to worry. Producers, in my mind, don't have to worry about ageism. But as a rapper, when I first came back, I actually thought at a moment before I got back, should I change my rap name? Then I was
Start
like, start over, literally. Should I come up with like a lot of the young bucks are just hiding their faces? Like you worked with New Villain. I personally didn't research him that much, but I looked around and he seems to put facial coverage on a lot of his stuff. Is it all of his
all the
stuff?
time. Yeah,
Has
all of
anyone
it.
ever seen his face?
Yeah.
But in public or in life? Life
No,
probably,
no, like behind, like backstage and shit like that.
but in front of no one publicly.
Not that I know
So
of.
I think it's kind of dope because if he cakes out and becomes dumb rich, he could live a regular life. That right there is the loophole of all loopholes.
MF
So I
Doom
think
did it, you know?
the loophole of all loopholes. So I thought about MF dooming it, putting a mask on or some other, or just creating an animation identity. I thought about it. Then I realized after talking to Dave One, Dave One is a person who put me onto you, low key. He
I
was like,
like
nah,
it.
bro, your stripes, shout out Dave One. Your stripes, that's your pride, bro. And since then, I almost stopped. I almost changed how I write. Like I really started going. That's when I wrote the Day One album, where it was about we used to be there at that age. We used to be at this block at that age. We used to go to this club. And to me, it was almost like creating a Montreal identity. When I think Montreal rappers often, this is no diss to us. Just we don't have anyone who made it yet. So often we just try to sound like what's popping. And I thought it was a Montreal identifier. And at the same time, I thought it was real to break down your story. Um, that being said, we're gonna move on from that. All right, let me ask you real quick. New Villain, we were just talking about him out of Toronto. How did that connect happen? I think he's dope. I think he's super dope. I look at Toronto in a way because I connect almost not more, but I have great connections in Toronto, dudes that I've known from way back. And I'd never heard of New Villain until I saw your collab.
I
It
didn't
was
know
hard
your
as hell.
connections ran that deep with you.
Honestly,
I was surprised. I didn't know.
Maestro hit me up in around the Not Gangsta era and was like, bro, love your shit. Don't be afraid every now and then to make a record for radio. He didn't tell me go out there and dance on records, but he was like, you good. I think you're talented. Don't be afraid to do a record that people can enjoy in a different space, but their headphones. Um, so that to me meant something real to me because that's as OG as it gets in terms of Canadian hip hop. And for no reason, he's been kind of peeking out and showing me love for years. Mocha only showed me love out of nowhere.
That's great.
That stayed into a great relationship. We talk every now and then. When he figured out that I called this mom's crib, um, he was around. We were working together at the time my mother passed away. That's like a year and a half ago. And he first thing he said in the second message was, yo, like what an honor. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me is you make music with someone, but we don't talk like that. We don't talk every day like that. So I always look at you like a different kind of human. Like Mocha only is a different
Mm.
type of like he's good people. And Socrates, who I reached out
Dope, man.
little, he's dope. I reached out to him a little bit like how people reach out to you. I thought he was dope. I reached out to him for a collab, and it started with a collab, but even a collab started with a 45-minute conversation. Like he wears his name well. If one
Uh-huh.
day you work with him, like he's really philosophical. He wanted to know who was the human that he spoke to before he did a record with him. And I respect that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that makes
saying?
sense to me. Yeah.
He's literally like, okay, if we're gonna do this, who are you? And now we connect well. And he's one of the people who,
Mm.
without knowing it, gave me energy to not stop. Because you have peaks and valleys, man, because the bag doesn't come from rap for me. So there's peaks and valleys. And in terms of how I feel about how hard I should go with rap, but he told me once, you one of us, like you one of them, you a music dude. Just I don't know when it's gonna happen, but stay focused and that's it. And when you have someone of his stature, like I've
Mm-hmm.
talked now to many musicians in Toronto, his name always comes back. Like he
Mm-hmm.
really gets well respected. So I think for me, that's why I wanted to do this show. I wanted to celebrate the people who found a way to reach the people. I've always felt like I found a way to reach my peers. I've
Mm-hmm.
connected well. Like that's what keeps me going is the fact that I feel as though when I meet my peers, Mike Shire, bro, he's as popping as a rapper has ever been in this city for the city. I don't think a rapper's done what he's done. Period. I told him
Mm-hmm.
that.
In English?
It's never happened. It's not even close. It's not even close. But like, you know what I'm saying? He likes my shit every now and then. As a child in my mind, as a dude who cared about being a dope rapper, that means the world to me. Like if I stop rapping tomorrow, that means the world to me. So I don't know, like I want the bag, but I still am a regular rap dude who still feels like his respected peers' opinion is as high level as it gets,
That's
right?
right. That's how I
So
feel.
right when Nicholas Craven is approaching you initially for your artwork is sick, maybe we can, you know what I'm saying, trade off, but that leads to you connecting with people based off purely off your talent. If Chung takes 15 of your beats, just fucks with your beats. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that is the highest
At
level.
the end of the day, that's what hip hop is really. You know, it's cool to make money, all that. Like if you can feed your family with that, but like when you started doing hip hop, I don't know for you, but when I started like getting into it, I was not like, yo, one day I'm gonna make $1 million. I was just like, yo,
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna make like the illest shit and people are gonna fuck with my shit. That was like
That's it.
my goal, man. So it's like if I
Absolutely.
get that, that's to me, that's like that means a lot, you know, that means
Blow, get your flowers. Right now, I don't know if you live in it because I know, you know what I'm saying? It's always you're only as good as your last hit. But
mm,
Rick Lesnar, that ransom shit, like Silent Murderers, it is very high level for this city. And I don't know, bro. Like to me, that's just stepping stones and it's gonna be onward, upward. You are just very talented from the art to the production. Like you're like a triple threat if you count the fact that you also draw and have the more graffiti aspect. So you probably have an aspect which is more fine-tuned to do nice drawings, and you also have the fucking throw up energy that you can fucking
oh
pull
yeah,
off
I
as
still
well, right?
practice. Yeah, I still practice the hand styles and the throwaways and all that. But
I think it's super dope. I think it's super dope. By the way, um, now okay, Larry Kidd, Chung, New Villain, Toronto, the Kamui remix. What was the original? I maybe I'm crazy. I found Kamui online. I didn't see anyone with remix on the platforms. I saw that on YouTube.
yeah, I don't know. I can tell you, I don't know.
Okay, so there's one version or there's two versions and you did both
As
versions.
far as my beats, there's only one version. Maybe
Okay,
he's
so
got another version on a different beat, but like there's only one beat of mine.
right? Okay, so I'm not
For
crazy.
that.
All right, so Wordsmith Supreme, Kamui remakes, ridiculous. Um, New Villain, do you think I haven't heard dudes rap like that in Toronto? I know there's a million dudes. Theo 3 is nuts. Socks is nuts, but like maybe I don't want to disrespect the scene. But when I heard him, good God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you think just about beat dubs?
Vincent
Do you think
Price put
about
me on.
EPs? Would you say, pardon me?
Was that?
I want to
I
know what you
said
said.
Vincent Price put me on
Really?
yeah,
That's a good put on. That's a
yeah,
good put on, by the way, because he's insane.
yeah,
Like, do you
yeah.
ever think to yourself as a producer, you know, I don't know if he's up and coming, but I don't think he's a guy who's been around forever. Do you ever think that's a dude that I could do an EP with? Do you think that way, or do you just think I do
With
my art
with New Villain, you mean?
with New Villain or with Rome Streets or with anyone who's talented and
Oh,
popping?
for sure, for sure. And to me, that's like that's the ultimate, right? Like that's how to me that's how you make a real album. You know, like you in person sit down with the person, vibe, listen to beats, bounce ideas, and just like really focus on like
Yeah.
the task at hand.
It's hard to do nowadays, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to be in each other's homes and send each other stuff. I agree with you. I agree with you. Like I feel like that
If it's
fair
possible,
exchange.
obviously sometimes it's not possible. People are in different cities, but like if you're in the same city, you should be like tapping in and like
You
really
should
like
be tapping in 100%. Okay. Three rappers, unless you don't want to share, that you would do and you would wish, or just nothing, you think it'd be cool doing EP with. Not work with. Because everyone
in
always asks you
Montreal
that.
or any rap.
Nah, I don't want to tell you in Montreal. I just want to say who you think you'd love to work with that you think could happen. Like, don't tell me I'd love to work with Jigga. You could say that if you want, but I'm just trying to say something that could happen, just so the Montreal people, Toronto people who probably check in could be like, oh, all over Canada, actually, US too. What's up? Who would we want to work with?
There's this guy, Navy Blue, that's really good. I like
Okay, so I peeped one of his joints. I forget what album it's on, but he's not on Griselda.
he's what? No, he's not. No.
Okay, where's he from?
I think he's from Brooklyn, but I might be
He's
wrong.
from Brooklyn.
He might be
And
not born and raised, but I think he lives in Brooklyn.
Okay, so navy blue. That's one. Who else?
Uh, Mike. Mike is dope. Mike is
Have you produced for him?
nope.
You've done artwork for him.
Oh no, no,
You
but
haven't.
this guy, not Mike Shab. Mike Shab, we gotta join. I gotta join with Mike in the tuck. But I'm talking about this kid. His name is
Oh, you
Mike.
hold. Rewind. Let's talk about Mike in a second. So you don't have a Mike Shab joint yet.
No, I
You
do
have a
have Mike.
Mike
I
Shab
do have
joint
a
in
Mike.
the tuck. That's out.
It's not out yet.
That's
No,
my point. So
you're
this
right.
is low key and exclusive. You're not gonna tell me your name.
Lace your boots.
Lace your boots. Boom. We have a Mom's Crib exclusive. Shout out to Stack Moolah. Shout out to Mike Shab. No, I tell you, shout out to Stack Moolah and Mike Shab. I'm getting all crazy. I'm getting all flustered. Remind me of the name.
Lace your boots is the name of the joint.
Lace your boots. All right, so it's gonna be some stomp your boots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
It's gonna
shit.
be some Timberland flapping up the
Let's
ab shit.
go. I cannot wait to hear this. I truly can't wait
And
to see this.
yes,
God
so
bless
I
you.
have that with Mike. But this other kid is named Mike, just Mike, Mike, and he's dope.
All
And
right, where's he from?
I think he's from Brooklyn as well. I might be
Okay, so
wrong
your
again,
sound is
but
no, but listen, hold on. Sometimes you have a connection with certain places. 100%, 100%. All right, so Mike, navy blue, one more.
I think I'm gonna go 90s on this one and say Curious George, man. Curious George, I think is super good. I'm a
Wow.
I always loved his music. Like his first album to me is like my youth. So like to maybe make music with Curious George would be very dope for me.
I'm actually super shocked by the three people that you named. Not one of them. No, no, listen. This is this is what you want from people. You want real opinion. You want real personality. Sense that you're meeting a human versus you're meeting another version of everybody else, another version of everybody else. That's dope. Okay. I'm not even gonna ask you anything else. If there's anybody, no, I'm not gonna ask you. That's all I want to know. I'm gonna leave you with that. So I think that's actually pretty badass that you name people um that are low-key pretty underground and not as prominent, at least to me. Right. So I'm gonna look into all these people. Listen,
No,
God
definitely.
bless.
Yeah.
God bless you for having these eclectic tastes. Akhenaton, he's someone who is well known, world renowned, and listen, it's not Jodon Sudamia, it is Stack Moolah. It's definitely some hard shit.
Thank you, man.
Y'all went to France to film this,
No, 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 no. This was in Saint Henri. We
so
filmed
they
the big
came
dog in Saint.
here.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He was in town for the OSM, the orchestra. Like they were doing like the live version with the Montreal Orchestra. And he was in town for a few days, and he's like, "Yo, let's do the video."
That's so hard. That's so hard that
Shout out to Akhenaton.
one,
Shout out to Detrack too. He made that happen.
shout out to Akhenaton, shout out to Détrac. Um, I think the video is dope. I think the song's dope. I think the song is really, really dope. I even have I don't rap in French, but I have it in my head. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
I
it's
know
like
that
a
it's a
sing
really
songy kind of thing. Yeah, yeah,
like it's really, really good. It's really, really hard. That's a super legend. How
yeah.
did that
That's
come about? How did you feel about it? Like again, you didn't have these moments. I know this isn't based on your eclectic taste. I know that it's not about the legends for you. It's about
I mean, it
someone that you
is
truly think meshes
something
with
like
you.
that is definitely like about like that's a huge moment. That's
That's
like
super
wow.
stripe. Super
Yeah,
stripe.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was insane. Yeah, for sure. That's I think the track hit me up and um he's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna like try to do because he had another joint with Akhenaton,
Okay.
maybe two even. So he's like, yo, I'm doing a new track with Akhenaton and I want you to do the beat. So I sent him a bunch of beats and he sent them to Ak and took a while. He was on tour, this and that, and I was like, ah, maybe it's not gonna work. But then like he's like, yo, I got the verse, boom, he sent me the thing,
That's wild.
and
That's
he
wild.
like the track matched the flow, the Akhenaton flow, and it's like from there. It
So
was
the
the
track is from Montreal or from
he's
France?
from Gatineau, yeah.
From Gatineau.
Yeah,
how
yeah.
did like okay, I'm not getting into how did his plug Akhenaton happen,
I could answer that. I don't know.
but either way, that's super hard as hell. So the fact that you have Akhenaton, based on the fact that a kid from Gatineau, is your bro, fucked with you, like your style, is a great blessing. And the video was in St. Henry. I used to ball in St. Henry. St. Henry, I'm not surprised, has the kind of aesthetics where it's kind of
Yeah, it is.
gentrifying, but it
Yeah,
still has that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
old world poverty. You know what I'm saying? So there's
Yeah, yeah,
there's
it's by the
real,
train tracks.
yeah, I mean, it's real. There's some culture there. Yeah, so the video is dope as hell. Okay, so you went to Japan. You went to
Yeah,
Japan. How long, like, was it a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks, right?
Yeah,
It's far to get there. So
yeah,
I
it's
figured you
fun.
stayed a long time. How did that influence you in terms of illustration, in terms of graph? Like, did did for sure you got inspired, but did you really bring back concrete pieces that you use, tools right away?
For sure. I went digging. I was digging crazy out there. Like I was going digging every
Really?
day. I was digging like a madman over there. They have the best record
Really?
stores. They have crazy
Really?
record stores. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
So
insane.
Japan has the best record stores.
Well, that I've been, and I think like I would, I would put money
You would
against. Like
know. You're a digger.
I was there, and I was like in many stores, and I was just like going crazy. Yeah, no, it's different over there. But everything is like I don't know, man.
On
It's
steroids?
Yeah, everything is better. Like I want to say everything is like 30% better kind of thing, you know? Everything is
Really?
like more like thought out and like attention to detail is like crazy. It's like, yeah, man, it's different out there, man.
So in terms of musical palette, everything that you would find in a North American music institution, like a mom and pop shop, wherever you find the best digging, they have it plus 30%.
Yeah. And the
Wow.
records are like new. Everything is like mint. Everything is like wrapped in plastic. Like you'll never see like a beat up record or like something all messed up. Like everything looks like it is just like put out
What's the
like
difference? Is it cultural difference or is it just because like it's they just did it more recently?
I think again, like I was saying, attention to detail. They they
Really?
they care about everything. Like they're very minute and like they they just like do it different, man. It's amazing. I'm going back actually. I'm going back in a month and a half,
Oh, how long are you staying?
3 weeks again.
3 weeks again. And you're
Yeah,
gonna
man.
dig your
I
ass
mean,
off. Pause.
I'd like to stay longer, but yeah,
3 weeks is a long time just to get away from life.
it's true.
Um,
But
graffiti culture.
I consider it work, man. I go dig, like
It is work. It is work.
I'm putting work over there. I could be like out strolling and looking at the scenery, but I'm like in the record store and like just
Really.
trying to find something crazy. So
Man, I'm telling you, there's something about these rap kids, man. This is really living it. Like you could be out there eating sushi every day.
that's right.
Um, so they're big on hip hop culture in terms of vinyls. Do they have hip hop culture in terms of? I mean, I know these kids dance their ass off. I'm talking about graffiti. Like
Um,
I don't. I'm just wondering, it's like culturally, sometimes there's more punishment if you do certain things
yeah,
in
and
your
it's a
city. So did
very
you see
I
any
saw
graffiti
like
there?
Tokyo doesn't have that much graffiti. There's some, but considering it's a huge city with like 13 million people, there's really not that much graffiti.
Not
Uh,
that much.
Osaka has more graffiti. Osaka's a bit grimier, and you'll see
Okay.
graffiti over there. Yeah,
A little something, something. And
yeah,
does
yeah,
it look like specific cities? I don't know graffiti enough to know. Does New York and LA look that much different?
yeah, for sure.
And when you look at Osaka, what did it remind you of?
That's an interesting question.
Yo, I always say this, man. We are the culture. Like when I say we, I mean hip hop. Like hip hop is the culture of the world, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for
we
sure.
forget. So there's like people take it in and just come out with their own interpretation of
Yeah,
it in their
it's definitely
countries.
different. It's different from New York. It's different from. I've never been to LA, but I know the graffiti.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a mix, I guess, and they have their own twist on it as well. So it's like it's Japanese graffiti, man, but it's
Mhm.
pretty. Some of it's pretty good.
Like good from the perspective of people who have good penmanship, or good from a perspective of graffiti.
from graffiti, from my graffiti taste, like I saw
Yeah,
some stuff that I was like, oh, this is dope. This is dope. Some
that's
stuff like,
dope.
but it's like anything, like music. Some speaks to you, some doesn't.
Yeah, for sure. But trash is trash. Like I just one of those. Sometimes you get somewhere and it's like, oh, I see what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree.
No, okay. So Japan does their thing. Good to know. All right. So French rap or international rap. So you got a little more of let's just put it out there. I don't rap in French, but my bro Lil Pesci, good homie, raps in French, flipped. You was only English, and now I think he's mostly French. And I get it. I feel like Québécois rap, and that encompasses Haitian culture rap and all that. Just Montreal rap is very. It truly encompasses the culture. I get it. It's who we are in Montreal.
Yeah.
But international rap probably has a little bit more legs. Which which do you which makes you happier when you get a placement,
Um, the impact of say a Rome Street record is
right?
way bigger than anything local.
Undeniable.
So
100%.
I mean, just for that, it's like it's interesting to like obviously you put out music, you want people to hear it, you want to reach as many
As
people
many people as you
as
can.
possible. So that's a very strong point. But working with local people is different because you can go to their house, they can come to yours, you can bounce ideas,
Yeah.
call them
Straight
on the
up.
phone, you can
Face to
really,
face.
yeah. And that's I think that's kind of like important, or it brings something different to a project.
But like French media, I mean, media doesn't exist like it used to, right? But which media pays more attention?
Well,
In
it's hard
terms
to
of
compare,
Stack
right?
Moolah,
But it's such like a different market. Like it's if you have a record with anybody on Griselda, there's millions of
it's
people that are gonna tap it.
everywhere in the world. Right
Every
away, it's
media,
out.
everybody's gonna like check it out. That's not happening with
So a whole EP with someone at the same time doing 3 songs with one kid is different. At the end of the day, Griselda,
yeah.
100%, 100%. Listen, we have less than a minute, so I just want to take you pause for like 10 more minutes. I have a few more questions to ask you. Is that okay? Because
Yeah,
this is
sure.
dead right now. It's gonna die in 30
Okay, okay,
seconds.
okay. All right,
So as it hangs up, instead of starting a new conversation, like I
right.
just want because I get caught up in conversation, but I just want to get real quick in some fast pace, like, okay, you work with Craven, cover for Marcy. How did you work? I just want to real quick do a little like machine gun style
Rundown. Yeah,
questions,
yeah.
short answers, real quick, and that
All
way
right.
afterwards we'll get back to it. All right.
That's fair.
So you tell me today to have a ghostwriter. Fuck you, mean I got time to write all this.
Mhm.
But I always ask myself, because you always find out lately that the ones at the top always have ghostwriters. Do I believe that Drake has a ghostwriter for his current diss record? I don't. Do I believe that if he hears a super good record already written with pop energy that he thinks will top the charts, he's singing it.
Mhm.
Just
I mean,
like Drake
it's
is
been proven anyways, like with Drake and stuff.
it's actually been proven, right? So, but the same thing with Kanye, like it just we forget Dre
No,
doesn't
I think
produce
you're
all
right.
shit. Like all these guys, at some point, it becomes a factory where their
Yeah,
name means a business,
yeah.
and they get people. They might put bells and whistles. I put Kendrick. I just took him like one of those real
Yeah.
students of the game, but Jedi's of the game.
So
Almost at a
how did was it what's your stance on that? Like did that tarnish Drake's name when you heard about the was it like ah man
I'll
I
tell
don't
you straight up. I'll tell you straight up. At first, absolutely. At first, when I first found out that Drake had a ghostwriter, I was like, I knew that his fans wouldn't care because most of his fans, we mentioned it before, he sings, he does a lot of pop songs. So
yeah.
most of his money making fans are not necessarily rap critics. So I didn't think it would affect his sales.
Yo,
Are we frozen?
yo,
Yo, we frozen? I could hear you. Can't hear me?
Yeah, this shit just froze for a second.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to Drake. I knew his fans are not necessarily all rap critics, so I thought it wouldn't affect the sales. But I knew it would affect how we feel about the best writers of all time. Like to me, right away, I knew, I think right now, Drake is a top dog in this food chain. I think in a food chain of rap, that's the best way that I could break it down to you. I don't want to get into who's the most lyrical, who's the most this, who's the most that. Jay-Z at a point was the top dog, food chain. Tupac at some point was a top dog of the food chain. Biggie was a top. That's all I'm saying. The top of the food chain. I know Kendrick is a god in himself. He's gonna be there on the Rushmore of a bunch of people's lists. But if you had to ask me today, who's at the top of the food chain? I think Kendrick is there as well. But if you had to say, is there one person? I would say Drake. My
Mm.
opinion. I think he's good at the art of war.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's good at the art of war. I think for someone who makes all this money, he has time for y'all. When the difference with Jay-Z in his prime, a lot of people poked, and he was like, you gonna just talk shit until you get tired of it and they're gonna forget about you. Drake could do that, but he's petty. He has time for everyone.
Hmm.
So it tarnished his placement as the greatest writers of all time, but I still think he's a top dog in this food chain. And I've understood that rap culture has changed.
Yeah.
And my opinion on myself is I wouldn't have a ghostwriter, but I'm pretty sure that 95% of the rappers at the top of the game today, 95 is a random number, but I'm just saying I'm pretty sure most of them,
Yeah.
if they don't have
Because
a ghostwriter, if someone shows up with a dope track,
they'll
they're
do it.
taking it. They're
Yeah.
taking it.
But I think your point to the busy schedule is very valid. I think
You're
that's
just busy. You got
probably
no
the only
time.
reason why they would do that is because
That's
listen,
it.
I don't have time to like fucking sit down and write 30 songs today. Like I have to go
Time.
do this GQ photo shoot and then we're flying to whatever, you know?
There's too much money and it almost feeds the industry, meaning those producers who are nobodies, Scott Storch is thankful Dr. Dre let him in the door.
Hmm.
Look at who he is today.
For sure.
Clearly, he had some issues in life. Scott Storch is a legend in terms of producers. So just getting in the door, man.
That
So
happens. I mean, producers have ghost producers too, you know? Like that's the thing in
that's what I'm
producers.
saying. That's what I'm saying. So at some point, you're just so busy. Can you write in the jet when you have to answer questions by your PR and some girl is giving you top and you have a thing in 5 seconds and a stylist is showing you clothes? I don't know. How
It's
can
not the
you
best
be
conditioning.
right? So I'm aware of those things. Okay, so let's go real quick. I want to know number one, you have a good relationship with Craven. How long have you known each other?
Like 2 years and a half or something.
2 years and a half? Okay. Do you guys dig together? Do you guys play each
We
other
did.
records? Is it just business talk? Okay, there's this guy here. What about dude? What about this artwork?
No, we've been digging. We hang out here and there, but you know, we both have like different lives and
It's a
different things.
business. Hell yeah. Craven's at that
But he's
level
different. I
of
consider Craven a friend, though. Like
that's dope.
that's not my
100%. All right. So you guys, if you had to pick, so what you guys typically do is talk biz, dig, or literally play each other beats and see what rappers could work on, could fit on what.
No, no, no.
Who's
We
your
don't do
dynamic?
that. But we'll just hang out, or sometimes he'll hit me up and be like, "Yo, I need a cover for this, that, that. Can you do it?" And sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's just. Last time I saw him, we just went downtown and ate Chinese food and walked around and we talked about rap, obviously, but like not business or anything like that.
That's dope. That's dope. Okay. Cover for Rock Marcy. I'm only asking that because Rock Marciano is definitely they all are, but that's just different levels of epic. How does the inspiration come for that specific cover and generally?
I think for that, Craven saw some of my drawings and he was like, "Oh, this is dope. Like, I want something in that style."
Mhm.
So it was kind of off something that I had already drawn.
Okay, so then you kind of tweaked it to it.
Yeah,
So having your Instagram is your bio,
sorta, yeah, sorta,
right?
kind of, yeah, 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 yeah,
Right?
for
All
sure. I
right.
think that's nowadays that's pretty much like the thing, right? So it's like the calling card or like the portfolio or whatever you want to call it. It's like very accessible for anyone to just like
100%.
come by
100%.
and check it out.
That cover of No Fair Exchange, a fair exchange, is just epic. It's Quebec, it's hip hop, it has the details of hip hop. Um, I've noticed in your beat tape that you have English notes, you have French notes. Do you are you aware of our culture? Or are you just trying to do some fly shit?
Well, I think it's just me, like I speak French, I speak English, I listen to hip hop. It's like it's all like influences. So if I like listen to a French movie and somebody says some ill shit in Quebecois, I'm gonna be like, oh,
I
I'm
think it's
taking
dope.
that. It's like
I,
anything. It's like if you listen to an ill movie in English and there's a ill dialogue, you're like, oh,
yeah,
I can do something with that. So, but
you
it's not.
inspired me. Right away, I thought I got to put some French shit at some point as a quote. Why not? It's a good identifier, and it's what we live. I thought that
Yeah,
was dope.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but did Craven say, "Yo, bro, I see this fucking syrup shit"? Because then the different covers for the vinyls were like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
Actually,
so fresh.
the syrup was Boldy James. We had the cover, and he was pouring just plain syrup, and Boldy James was like, "Yeah, I like it. Just make the syrup lean." And that was his only note about the cover.
Make the syrup lean. He
Yeah.
meant that was his expression of maple syrup.
Well, I think he was like, "Yeah, it's syrup, but
Oh no, the color lean purple.
yeah,
Got it. But here's what I'm asking you: the actual like maple syrup cover. Was that his opinion? Your opinion? Who had the main?
Craven
Yeah,
came
that
up
could
with
be
that. Yeah,
really.
Craven wanted the can design. Yeah,
I love it. I love to hear
and
that.
we turned
Okay,
the caban into a trap house, and Boldy was like, "Yeah, it's dope. Just make the syrup purple."
that's so fucking fresh. All right, you left music for 6 years. Well, let's say 5, 6, whatever long you left, however long you left. What's the first thing you did when you got back? What were
The
you doing in the meantime? Were you doing illustration only? Were you
I
working
was
regular jobs?
Yeah, I was
If
just
you want to
working there.
share.
I mean, I was probably drawing and doing little odd contracts here and there because I've always done that like my whole
Mhm.
life. But yeah, I was just working like regular jobs.
Okay, all right. It's but you still did music in the meantime.
Not during that period.
Yo, I completely stopped. There
Yeah.
was a period where I completely stopped.
Yeah.
I
Same.
feel bad. I say this today because like I did a record with similar, like we were working on an album, and
Mhm.
then it never came out. But it's around a little bit after that, I just kind of left music,
Yeah.
and I had people that were friends that I kind of like literally disconnected from because it was literally a broken marriage, and I couldn't. I had to stay away from everything that was
I
hip
hear you.
hop. It
Yeah.
was my only way to maybe find another identity for myself.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
As weird as that sounds.
No, I get
Okay,
it. And yeah, I was just gonna say that it was also when did you stop? Like what years after?
I stopped in 2012. I did a record, which was like somebody approached me on a video shoot, oddly enough, to do a rock rap record. And they were like a rock band or whatever. And I was like, all right. And that's how I know today, like, man, when you start doing shit that you don't want to do, that you didn't really like as a music palette, but you thought maybe that's the one that's gonna get me over.
Mm,
And the track I ended up doing like 600,000 views and
oh yeah,
a bunch of hate though. A bunch of this is trash.
really. Well, that comes with it, anyways.
Like,
I guess.
but I just remember that thinking in my head, I was like, this is how I know that it's time to get the fuck out of here. This is how
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know that what you're doing is not only reaching, but it's also not accepted. I don't think anyone in rap really knew about it because I didn't even post it at the time. I don't know what the mediums were at the time, but I left. And then what got me back is broke up with my ex and my kids were gone and I was kind of sad about it. And my homie Crucial, who used to be Eclipse from Obscure Disorder, who used to rap, not produce, was working on beats for the past few years, and he already had like 12 in the stash. And I think the album was like almost the 10 beats that he had in the stash that I just wrote different songs to without overthinking. And that's what it was. So life brought me back. I think for rap, you need something to talk about. So to me, I needed to talk about that. But oddly enough, I never talked about that subject matter again because I was out of it after that. I wrote
Hmm.
other shit, but
Clean cut.
it was done. I was like, I'd have to get this emotional moment out of me. And then I dropped Day One, Can You Say Real City? And I've been dropping a lot of albums now because I don't want to say it's about legacy, but it's about like I kind of cared about, I know what Mind Blowing did. And in my mind, I wanted to be one of those rappers who, bro, in 1990, whatever he was, and he's still like, whether I sell records or not, these moments where, respected top level rappers fuck with me, it gives me all I need to know.
Yeah.
Like, I know I want more, but at the same time, these moments mean a lot to me. So who knows? I still have a lot that I want to talk about, but 4 albums in 2 years, I don't ever want to be a rushed artist, like rapping just because I think it's what I have to do and chasing what everybody else is doing. I dropped these because I really had a lot to say. I still
Mhm.
clearly have a lot to say. Um, but who knows? Who knows? But I didn't. It's ironic that you didn't either. What brought you
Right.
back? You didn't do any beats.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Nothing. I just missed it. I don't know. I was like, yo, just make these beats, man. What am
That's
I
it.
doing? Yeah.
And did you go to drumless right away? Or did you go to
Some of it, but I mean, I still drums in my stuff. Like a lot of stuff that I do has drums, It's not all drumless. So when I came back, I was doing drumless, but same ratio as now, like maybe
gotcha?
I don't know, half and half. I don't know.
But it wasn't 2005. The sound had evolved.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite rap era? What is your favorite production era? I'm
Oh
separating
wow.
the two.
So rap meaning lyrics.
Rappers,
Yeah.
lyrics, rap styles, production styles.
I like what's going on right now, man. Like the stuff
Okay.
that I like now, like I really, really like it the same way I like the stuff back then, It's
Production and rap,
less
both?
that.
Production and rap?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The stuff that I
That's it.
like now, there's not that much of it though. It's not like thousands of projects. There's like a little project here, a little project there that I really,
Mhm.
really like. And when I like it as much as I liked stuff that came out in the 90s.
All right. I like the way you move on. Um, what are your biggest illustration influences? And do you have favorite illustration eras?
Wow. I do actually. I like 70s. Overall,
So
I like 70s, I
70s.
think, because I like samples from the 70s and I like
Yep.
illustrations from the 70s. Like even my beat dumps, like the cartoons or animations or whatever, they're all pretty much from the 70s.
It's all from the 70s. I
Yeah.
love to know that. Okay, so um 16 bars or 20 bars?
12 bars.
12 bars. That's how
12,
modern you are.
12 bars is slept on, man. Like you can get it done in 12.
Bro, 12 bars is slept on. That's like the quickie. Don't play it. But it's literally, honestly, I see it now. You are purely a person who is alive and feeling and living each era. Like
Yeah.
you are very immersed in this era, and that is rare. I love to see it. Um, okay. Rappers that you want to work with in the US that you
We've
haven't
done
worked
that.
with. We've done
We did
that.
that
My bad.
question, yeah.
Rappers in Canada that you want to work with.
Let's do a joint.
Bro, you with it?
Let's do it.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. You know what's wild is I just talked about it with my producer. I said, I want to work with this guy, but I'm sure everyone's hitting him up. And it's the same thing with, and this is, let's just keep this in our moment. I feel like everyone is hitting you up. So my point, I wanted to celebrate your wins and build a relationship. And if it happens, it happens. But the idea of just this person's popping, that's why I want to hit them up,
Mm.
I think is lame. I don't ever want to be that person. So if it's organic, 100,000,000%, let's work. Absolutely. You had a radio show.
Yeah.
If you had a radio show today,
Mm.
what would you play?
Hmm. The artist I mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
Yeah, current stuff for sure.
So
And
you
maybe
wouldn't play jazz, you'd play hip hop? That was more my
I
question. I
thought you
should
were
have
talking about
articulated.
the hip because
I really was.
the radio show I had was hip hop, so we
Was
played.
hip hop. Okay,
If
so
I
you
had a
play.
sh if I had a radio show where I could play anything I wanted,
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but probably a bit of everything, man. Just
A
like
bit of
go,
everything?
yeah.
Okay. All right. What else? Graph, drawing, merch, Nicholas Craven, Rome Streets, Brick Lesnar. Honestly, I think we got everything. I truly think. Oh, no, 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 no. Mac Hami. So, one, I'm pretty sure you want to work with him. Who does not? Number two, do you know much about him? What's his story? Is he a recluse? Is this
I don't
I'm
know him
hate
personally. I can't speak on his personality.
can't find out? You in the Griselda realm. You Griselda.
Craven would could answer that question. I've never met him. I don't know much about him besides his music.
They got records?
Oh yeah,
Haven't I heard that? I gotta peep that, matter of fact. I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
know that.
He
I
got a lot of records.
I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping. I'm 100% sleeping. All right, all
Yeah,
right. So,
you
so
got
you
it
know much about
after.
that is a question for Nicholas Craven. Listen, by the way, beyond that, we got to work. We're gonna 100% work. I appreciate you coming up for this interview. I appreciate you sharing your story, man. I think you're
Thank you for
super
inviting me.
talented. Oh, bro, you killing me? I think you're Montreal. I think you're Montreal royalty, and I think we're gonna do good music. And I wish you blessings and growth
Always,
and
bro.
way more dope placements and way more dope art pieces.
Thank you.
And I ask everyone to go check out Stack Moolah's Instagram. It's at Stack Moolah, and he
Stack
has
underscore Moolah.
Stack underscore Moolah, and he has incredible beat dumps. He has incredible art, and honestly, you're gonna see everything he's doing, and he's working with some really fly artists. All right, so that's Real CD, that's Montreal. Super proud, and follow this man and stay up on it. All right,
Thank you.
bless King. I'm with you up.
Yeah, dude.
All right, one.